Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
everyone.
Welcome back to season 3 of Can We Discuss with Yara and Petra. I'm so excited to be here again. Yarusha, I can't really say I've missed your face. I was with you last week, but I missed your face in this context, in this
During this
setting.
set. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
The last time I think we recorded was in end of July, and it was with Petra's mother-in-law, and it was a great episode, and it really prepped me for what's to come.
Yes, 100%. Guys, most importantly, we've missed talking to all of you and we've missed just sharing our thoughts with you, sharing what we're going through. And in season 3, we're both entering a completely new era. Yara is in her mom era. She made a little tiny human over the past few months that we've been out, and I'm entering my auntie era. And it's my favorite thing in the world. Like I mean anyone who's an aunt, or I'm sure even a mom, knows and know. I don't think you can imagine how much your heart grows and how much you can love someone. And I always say, my obsession with Yara is now transferred to Daniel and
I've been
multiplied.
demoted.
You've been demoted and multiplied. حتى عرفتي انه قد ما كنت مفكرة انه انا كنت بعدني بحبك، بس انه قد ما كنت بفكر انه بحبك and I can't be as obsessed with anyone as I can be with you. Dan, wow.
It's a whole other thing.
A whole other story.
Yeah.
So now you guys are going to be getting a lot of different topics from us. Hopefully we're going to be able to share new perspectives. Yara is going to be able to share a lot more about her mom journey, now becoming a first-time mom, which is really exciting for us to have that first person narrative, I guess, and that first-hand experience in it. And then, yeah, we're just going to continue to dive into topics that you all know us to touch on and that we all love to discuss. We're going to bring a little bit of spiciness back into your life and just talk about things. So for our first episode, we thought, a lot of you guys also sent us this message when we asked you, what do you want us to talk about first? You all told us about becoming a new mom and becoming an aunt. So this episode, we're going to focus more on becoming a new mom, because as much as I would love to take the spotlight and share with you how much I love being an aunt, I think being a mom just comes with a little bit more interesting perspectives and narratives. So, Yara, you're going to be the subject of our episode today.
I can't wait. Wow.
Are you excited?
Yara. Excited. Let's see. I don't know what Petra is going to be asking, so let's see.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't really know the questions that I have for you, but I'm going to just talk about a few things, and hopefully you won't yell at me if you want me to cut anything out. I'm happy to, but let's give it to them straight, Okay, let's dive right into it. So Daniel turns 6 months next week, the week after.
Yeah, next week. 10
yeah
days.
So 6 months in, obviously they say a woman fully not comes back to her old self, but fully heals 2 years later. So you still have a long time to go. But 6 months in, 6 months in, my first question is, what is the part of old Yara that you miss the most?
Okay, first of all, قبل ما نبلش نفوت بكل شيء, I just want to say, obviously, every person feels very differently. Every person approaches things very differently, etc. Right? So nothing that I'm going to, everything that insert hey, the disclaimer. Everything I say, خاصة فيني and my experience. So I'm only going to be talking about my experience becoming a mom, how I've handled the different changes, whether it's with myself, with my friends, with my husband, blah, blah, blah. And what was your question?
What's the part of old Yara that you miss the most? Is there a part of old Yara Aslan that you miss the most?
It's not about, no. There's one thing, actually, me and my friend were talking about it today, is I know, as Yara, I am very much in general a people pleaser in the sense that I don't want anybody to be upset. I try to protect everyone in a way, even if it's just going to cost me. Now I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I know هلا صار في a bit more ريحة. So that's something that I don't miss anymore.
Okay.
One thing that I do miss is I was very spontaneous. I never really planned that far ahead with a
Yeah.
lot of things.
Stop.
So I think that's one thing that I do kind of miss every once in a while.
Okay.
I know, yes, my husband is a bit مرتاح أكتر من هالناحية إنه I'm not
Yeah.
يلا قوم هلا قوم مدري شو you know.
You've calmed down a little bit, you
I
know,
calm down a little bit.
you're pleasing his inner introvert, you know?
Yeah. It's one thing that obviously you're not able to do. خلص, it's just something that some days you are able to do it. بتكون بس إنه منك spontaneous in the fact that خلص in the minute you're gonna pick up and you leave, you know. بتكون إنه he's taking a nap and I'm like, okay, when he wakes up, we're both gonna go so that we feed him in the car because his wake window right now he hasn't turned 6 months yet. His wake window is anywhere between 2 hours and 2 hours and 20 minutes. So you need to like capture every minute, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to make sure that you're taking full advantage. I was in Dubai like last week or a week before, I don't remember anymore. But I came to you and I think you were hoping that I would like maybe get you out of the house, maybe like push you to do more things. And I was like, no, I came here to just stay at home and be with Daniel and
No,
hang
I
out
was
with you on the
hoping you were
couch.
gonna jump on my vibe, basically, like my energy level of أنا بحمل down بمشي فيه وين ما كان.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like, Yara, no, I just want to sit at home. Like, I don't want to be around people. I don't want to be with anyone. I just want to be with him. And I'm like,
Because
yeah, but
everyone
he's
would
a
have
social butterfly like me. So he wants to be around people.
we want him to be like that for sure, but like selfishly I only get so much time with him that I'm like if I go I have to like share him with people. I have to, you know, like ما بعرف انه
You
نحطه
have to talk to
بهالسtroller
other
بدل.
people. ما فيك تضلك بس معه هو يعني.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like I have to split my time and I wasn't ready to do that.
Yeah.
Um
Fair,
but I
fair.
think
You're only here for 6 days. That's fair.
yeah. I think that's a great answer, Saraha, in terms of like your spontaneous spirit in that sense. And I think it's something that eventually أكيد يعني, you'll start to be able to get back into. But no, it's definitely something in the beginning that maybe I can see how you can miss that. Because even Jason, when I came back, he was like, what the hell? Like you held Yara back. Like Yara's out doing things all the time and you were just like at home the whole time. Like كم صورة بالبيجامة, you know? Like it's so funny. And then you talked about something that was going to be my second question, which is what's a part of you that you don't miss? And you talked about being people pleasing. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and tell us like how do you feel like motherhood is it kind of just like a shift in priorities now? Is it a shift in like seeing people for what they are? Where do you think that shift happened?
I think it's a combination of things. Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say seeing people for what they are, because
Yeah.
it's just, you see it before, but it's just, you see it in a different light now, right? And you choose to whether accept it or not. بس the whole people pleasing thing, إنه أنا كنت من النوع اللي ما بدي حدا يزعل or إذا حدا ضايقني ما رح حسسه كتير إنه هو ضايقني. I'll just take it with a grain of salt and I'll just go with it. I'll just shift the way that I am with this person. I'm still like that. يعني بعدني I'm not, I don't want to confront people, whatever you do, you're like this, okay, خلاص. But now I'm much more of, if somebody goes like, oh my God, sorry, نحنا مستحيين منك, I look at them and I'm like, إيه لازم تستحوا إنه feel, you know what I mean? There are some things that I'm just like, now خلاص, I don't, يعني I'm very direct. I'm more direct when it comes
Yeah.
to these things.
Yeah.
And I just shifted a bit more. And in my friendships, the people that have been there and properly been there and whatever, it's my friendship obviously is going to be different with them. People that have obviously come and gone and whatever and not been there completely, خلاص come in, and my friendship has just changed according to that, right? And it's not because of anything. It's not because ما بتزعلي من الناس اللي حواليكي وما بتزعلي من حالك, you know. It's just about you take it as it is and you just shift the way that you are. You shift your
Yeah.
relationships. You shift the way you communicate with people. You shift
Yeah.
لأنه أنت as a person you've shifted a bit, right? Of course, you've shifted.
A
You've
lot.
had to readjust. You've had to
Yeah,
reprioritize things, and
yeah,
you hold more things at a higher value or at a different value at this point.
yeah,
So let's say that you see things a bit differently.
yeah. And that makes sense. And I think like every phase in your life that you go through kind of mish filters people out, but in the sense filters some people out. And I think the biggest test for a lot of friendships is when you have kids, you know, and I have friends here keep like they don't mean it, but like sometimes they will say like, oh, like we know that when you have kids we're never going to see you, and it's like, and I always straight up reply to them and just say, well, if you want to see me you're more than happy to see me, بس
Yeah,
انه اذا already انت عم بتفوت بهيدي العقلية انه ما حتشوفني when I have kids, اكيد ما حشوفك when I have kids. Like what do
yeah.
you think is going to happen there? Because the effort has to be reciprocated, and you have to understand that yeah, my life has shifted, my life has changed, and if you still want to be a part of that life there's a certain effort that you also have to put, you know what I mean? مثل ما نحن مثلا هلا we put
Yeah.
an effort every weekend to be in the city and to be doing things even though we live a little bit out of the city. Like we make that effort. It will be the same where it's like your friends will have to, you know, respect the stage in life that you're in and reciprocate accordingly. عرفتي؟
Listen, one thing, بتصير تقدر العالم that your friends that don't have kids that actually put in an effort with you and your children, بتصير
Yeah,
تقدريهم أكتر.
yeah,
And there are some friends that I have, some of them with kids and some that don't have kids.
yeah,
The way that they've shown up for me within this period of my life has
yeah,
just been amazing.
yeah.
And some of them, Anjad, it's actually some people, obviously, I expected them to be there a bit more than they have been.
Mm.
Other people have been, I didn't expect much, but you know, they've been here just so present. The fact that your single friends or your friends that don't have children yet, they're married but don't have children yet, they still show up in your life is amazing. They
Yeah,
do plans that work for you, for example. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I have a friend postpartum, the first 6 weeks after postpartum, obviously is very tough for any woman that gave birth.
صح.
I had a friend that was doing gatherings at her house. She lives in the same building. She was doing gatherings at her house just so that I'm able to be there.
Yeah,
بتصيري بتشوفي هول الاشياء وبتقدريهم كثير اكثر بالعالم.
صح. ايه.
وبتصيري تشوفي friendships that have just not given you as much value or have not put in as much effort.
Yeah,
Like, mind you, some people في عندهم أولاد, they're not going to be able to give you, when you have children, for example, they're not going to be able to give you the same things, or they're not going to be able to be there as much as you were there when they had children, simply because time just does not allow them to be there.
yeah,
يحبوا يكونوا بس they're not there. بس كيف
yeah.
بصيروا they're there? They speak to you all the time. They check in every
Mm.
once in a while. مش every once in a
Yeah,
while, sorry. They're checking in always. They're giving you a call whenever they get the chance to.
yeah.
This is how they start showing up. So they're still showing up. They're just showing up differently.
Yeah, it maybe becomes like a different type of friendship as well, where بتصير انت you understand where they've been for
Yeah.
a while, and then now they also know where you are and they want to be there for you in that place that you're
Yes.
at. So because I think about that a lot. I think about like friends that I've shown up for, and I think about, you know, بكرة إذا الله راد, like when I have my kids, like how is our life going to look like? Because قد ما أكيد you say إنه you want to make the effort to keep things as status quo as you can in terms of your friendships and everything. Like there's a realistic approach to it and a realistic lens that you have to look through things as well
Yeah.
from. So I always like tend to think about these things, especially like being away, like not having family, not having, you know, obviously I have my cousins, my cousin and Jason's cousins here as well, which
Yeah.
I can lean on, and I know that they're going to be my biggest support system at that time in my life. But it's like you just also like think about everyone else and all of the roles that they're going to play in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question that I had was postpartum. So postpartum is something that obviously like not a lot of people want to talk about or discuss their experience. How are you doing? how are you feeling emotionally, mentally, physically? How has your postpartum journey been so far?
So one thing, I think people need to talk about postpartum a lot more. مش a
Yeah,
bit more. لا لازم يحكوا كتير أكتر بالموضوع.
yeah,
People tend to ما بعرف إذا they sugarcoat it for themselves or for others, but I've been saying it as it is with a lot of people. Some of my husband's friends came over the other day. They were asking me how it was, and I just gave it to them as it is. يعني.
yeah,
Listen, postpartum for me specifically, يعني I had to go through like my birthing experience was to me not the best, right? And I went in,
yeah,
I was going in natural. I ended up having to do an emergency C-section. Was not the funnest experience, right?
yeah,
I'm very lucky. I had a huge support system. In Dubai, يعني a lot of our cousins live here. A lot of our friends are here. My mom was with us. Was
yeah,
She was here, Kameno. And then you guys came. The whole family came 2 weeks later.
yeah,
So I got very lucky with the support system. But postpartum, you go through so many different things within one day. Within one day, your hormones are literally going up, down, up, down, up, down, zigzag. ما بعرف كيف يعني شمال يمين
yeah,
فوق تحت everywhere. They're all over the place. So you really need a person that's there for you with everything, or you'll kind of it'll be disastrous. يعني and I thank God, Elias is very, very supportive with everything. And
yeah,
postpartum, I had so much support, alhamdulillah, but he was my biggest support.
yeah,
And then I had friends that have already gone through it that would text me, how are you emotionally? Like they would
yeah.
be very specific about it.
Specific.
How
Yeah,
are you emotionally?
yeah,
And emotionally, and أنا personally, the first على قليلة like 40 days, you're in a haze. You're not really fully there. You're not fully aware of what's happening. If you choose to breastfeed, you have prolactin that's getting pumped in your system. It's something you've never felt before.
yeah,
It changes your emotions. It makes you a bit
yeah,
more aggressive, a bit more dry, a bit, and it's all biological. It all happens for a reason.
yeah,
So you're dealing with all of these things, and then in your head, or at least in my head, أنا شو كنت قاعدة عم فكر إنه okay, just take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. خلي كل شيء يقطع. It's okay. هيدا phase وبده يقطع. Like I'm like this with a lot of things, right? It's a
yeah,
phase وبده يقطع. It's a phase
yeah,
وبده يقطع. So هيك أنا كنت كل الوقت عم فكر. وذا fact إنه كان في عالم عم يحكوني كل الوقت. كان في البيت كان مليان. So I wasn't مش able to. I wasn't really in this whole newborn trenches that people
yeah,
call, because
yeah,
the house was always full. There were always people around. People were
yeah,
always checking in. It just made it easier for me not to تمحط حالي in a very down position, like
yeah,
emotionally, you know?
yeah,
The physical part of it was a different story. Physically, I was not prepared to have a C-section.
yeah,
It took a toll on me mentally. And I think because of how heavy the toll was on me mentally, بين كتير بجسمي. هلا بين بالعملية obviously, like right after the surgery it was
yeah,
not fun. وبين بعدين, like it took me a while to be able to, obviously I was getting up and I was walking and I was putting pressure on myself to أحمل حالي وأقوم وأمشي وأعمل
yeah.
كل شيء. I wouldn't advise it. Like I wouldn't do this with my second child.
Yeah,
But
didn't
it,
rest. You don't know as a person how to rest anyways, so
yeah,
like,
I know how to be
yeah,
lazy. Now I want to be lazy. Resting is
yeah,
not a thing. It's
when you
just
choose to be يعني بس إنه mostly in life you are a very like restless person. You are a person who wants to always be on the go, wants to get things done. Like ما بالك إنه you're the go-getter. Like if someone doesn't want to do something, like you'll get it done for them. You know what I mean? You're that
yeah.
person. Yeah.
I just feel like
And
things can get done quickly.
yeah.
مبدئيا.
If you want something done, do it yourself kind of thing.
But at that point in my life, and it was tough. I was getting into bed. I needed help. I'm not a person that really asks for help. So the fact that I was put in a position where I needed to ask for help for everything, help getting into bed, help getting into the shower, help getting off of the toilet seat. Yani, I needed help for everything. Help when I'm feeding Daniel, somebody get me water. I'm not that type. I'm the type, bedishi, I'll just go get it myself. And I don't ask for help in general.
Yeah.
So I think that period after giving birth, postpartum, to me, that was one of the most difficult. needing to speak up about the help that I needed.
Yeah.
That was just a whole other layer that, you know, ف it's like every person deals with it differently.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, they're all linked. It's not one thing or another. They're
Yeah.
all linked. وكلهم
Most
بيأثروا فيك. أنا
most
just the fact كمان the way that I gave birth and everything, to me it was ضيقني كتير
traumatized.
الوضع. To
Yeah.
me it was ضيقني كتير الوضع. Took me a
Yeah.
while to really get over it. It took me a while to فيق على حالي. It took me a
Yeah.
while to, and a lot of people were in the house all the time, and I appreciated every single person that was here, that was coming, that was checking up on me, texting me. لأنه it really helped me not have time to myself to really think about all these
Distract you.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You had
yeah,
constant distractions. You were hosting the whole family basically when like a week after you gave birth or like 10 days after you gave birth. And I even remember Anna telling you like, are you sure you want this? Like, not about me, but about everyone else. Like, are you sure you want everyone else there? And I remember saying like, I don't know if I would be able to do that, but now like looking back, it definitely, and hearing you say this, like it definitely distracted you,
yeah,
like kept you too busy to like think about what just happened to you, you know,
yeah,
like it hit mom really hard. Your delivery hit mom really hard. But I also remember like you weren't great at asking for help even towards the end of your pregnancy, and I think that's why it's important to talk about postpartum and to talk about like your last month before you give birth is like getting used to, you know, getting comfortable asking for help and getting comfortable being like,
yeah,
you know what, yeah, that thing is literally right there, but can you grab it for me, you know?
yeah,
And I think you still were really good at advocating for yourself in terms of what you need. يعني I obviously emotions are high, and now from like an aunt perspective I can say, you know, and from your like being your sister, obviously I'm very protective over you and over you specifically during that time. But like there was definitely times where you were great at speaking up for yourself, and that like relieved me and made me happy. But at the same time, I still had to remember that like I had to play a role to like advocate for you as well.
yeah.
Not that we needed it, but it's just like small things I
بس ما
remember.
تصيري تفكري فيهم يعني.
ايه يعني منو شي مهم, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah,
even me, like, and I didn't just give birth, and like if I would carry Daniel a certain way or do something a certain way, and it wasn't like the way that you would do it or the way that mom would do it or whatever, I would always feel like fuck, like anything I'm doing wrong, you know? And then I have to remind myself like, Petra, relax, you know, like first of
yeah,
all, this isn't about you. Second of all, like Yara's learning how to do things every day. Like كل يوم عم تتغيري. يعني حتى إذا بتطلع هيدا المشوار versus Lebanon versus Dubai when I first came to you, every stage of you has been
yeah,
different, you know? Every stage of you, even your confidence in becoming like a mom, like this
yeah.
trip was very different than like Lebanon again, then هيدا, and that these are just like month intervals. يعني مش إنه هالقد time has passed. So I think it's very important for the mom to continue to advocate herself, but it's also very important to surround yourself by people who are going to advocate for you and make sure that you are, you know, getting what you need. And
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you said was that Lies was one of your biggest support systems, which is the most important thing, I think, is picking your partner, because he's going to have to carry you through so many things in life, and this is just one of the things that he's going to have to carry you through. Inshallah, a lot of them will be happy stuff, but some other things are going to be hard stuff, you know.
Yeah,
And my next question was going to be more about now your relationship as a couple. You know, a lot of people, when you first give birth, they feel like they're losing that like spark, they're losing that like romance, they're moving more into like a roommates phase, and like sometimes there's tension because there isn't support. Like what has been your experience on that? Like for me, and personally, I just think sometimes like it's not always about the romance or like the relationship, because you have something bigger to take care of now, you know what I mean? But how
yeah.
has it your experience been so far now?
No, it's 100% true. It's not about يعني بتبطل الشغلة إنه it's us two,
Yeah.
and now it's the family. It's not
Yeah.
decisions that we are taking for us two or individually, because before you're able to take decisions that make you comfortable individually within the relationship.
Yeah.
هلا it's no longer that. هلا it's taking a decision individually is going to impact all of us.
Yeah.
So even these little things, I think the biggest thing with a relationship, Sarit, and not we need to start with each other, obviously managing our time, because you get tired a lot. Your dynamic is shifting. I've been on mat leave for the past 6 months. He's been back to work 2 weeks after I gave birth, basically.
Yeah.
فإتس
Completely different realities come in that you're living,
exactly.
you
And
know?
I've adjusted to a specific rhythm of me being on mat leave. I still
Yeah.
have not adjusted to me being at work. Like that's going to be a whole other ball game, and it's
Yeah.
going to be completely different, right?
Yeah.
And the relationship, the way that it shifts is the fact that obviously, yes, romance is still there, but you need to make more of an effort for the romance to be there.
Yeah.
And it starts showing up in different ways than the typical ways that you're used to. It starts showing up in little gestures here and there,
Yeah.
and little things when you guys go out, or even the romance is there when you're out with your child, when you're playing with your child, when you're hanging out with them, when you're doing their bedtime routine, all of
Yeah.
these things. But it's no longer the grand gestures that people would think of when they
Yeah.
think of romantic gestures. No, it's
Yeah.
in the little things. And it becomes just that much sweeter. لأنه it's in the little things, you know?
I think that's a very important thing for people to recognize, akid as new parents, but like in general in life, when you're able to start finding, happiness in the little moments, that's when you're going to start to see the picture a lot clearer in terms of like what happiness really is. It's not always about the grand gestures. Some people don't have it in them to do these grand gestures. They're more about like, oh, okay, عبيلك your water cooler before you get home, before
100%.
you get
Yeah.
into bed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they're more about
Exactly.
these smaller things than they are these big, huge things. And I think social media and stuff really tries to romanticize. Like, I'm just thinking how much the external world tries to romanticize not the little moments, the bigger things. And they really influence, they really like fuck up your mindset and start putting like really weird expectations on people. And it's very, very important that you're fully aware before you go into something like this, that like that's not real life, and that you have to understand like what reality really is, or else you're gonna be disappointed all the time.
Yeah.
And
But
so
that's also one thing that you said, you talked about, confidence as a mom.
yeah.
أول ما you become a mom, you're like bombarded with all of these different opinions, different ways of doing
Yeah.
things, what's right or wrong for other people, what worked for
Yeah.
them, blah, blah, blah. Amazing. Yes. The abundance of knowledge, the abundance of information is great. Does not
Yeah.
mean it can work for you. Take
Yeah.
it, but take it in a way that كله trial and error.
صح.
Even with your relationship, يعني when you become parents, even with the relationship things, there are trial and error. لأنه one day أنا حكون يمكن مهرية. It's going to be different. Romance is going to look different than another day where I'm like fully well rested, and vice
Yeah.
versa, even
Yeah.
with Louise as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the whole shift as well, especially as
Yeah.
بدك تسأليني like the gradual thing.
Yeah.
It's really looking at these things and
Yeah.
understanding. Yes, social media plays a big role in putting unrealistic expectations, unrealistic dynamics, unrealistic a lot of things. And
Yeah.
ليك this can come from people around you as well. بيصيروا يقولوا لك
ايه
شوف
اكيد.
هي حياتنا نحن انا وياه بس
ايه.
جبنا اولاد.
ايه.
Okay, fine, great. Take everything. لأنه كله مزبوط. It's all people's
صح.
experiences. كله بصير. It doesn't
مظبوط.
have to be your experience. And
100%.
that's something that I learned حتى with motherhood. That it's amazing that you get so many different pieces of advice from all around you. It's amazing that so many different things work, but there's so much information out there, and there are so many different methods, simply because كل ولد له شيء.
ايه.
Literally يعني وكل
وكل
relationship is
امشي
different.
وكل
Exactly.
وكل امشي وكل
Exactly.
بيشي وكل بيتشي. So I think like that's a great way to kind of wrap up the episode, is just to say like, no, like really like in everything in life, but like in specifically in motherhood, specifically in parenthood,
Yeah.
and becoming this new unit and new family, like don't compare yourself to others and try to focus more inward and how you're really feeling versus like what you're told to feel or what you're told is supposed to happen in these times. And I don't know if you agree, but like, do you have any other thing that you would like to say to just to new moms and to wrap things up?
I mean, one piece of advice that I think is انتوا وحظكم. Try to get pregnant at the same time as your best friend. It really
Oh,
helps.
that's انت وحظك وانت مش حظك يعني, it depends on how you figure it out. Yeah, you that is an amazing, amazing experience I think that you had, that also like
Yeah.
you had one of your biggest support systems, like your best friend Jana, going through the motions the same, not the same way, but like at the same time that you were
Same
going
time,
through
yeah.
that. So I think that's super cool. Yeah, that's goals.
That's just try to do it until حظكم. But
Yeah,
no, one thing that I would tell new moms is something that has helped me is accept all the advice that you are given. Accept it because it might be helpful. لأنه كل شيء trial and error. You never know with your
yeah,
child what's going to work. Accept all the advice, but also stay true to yourself, and you know your child better than anyone. Yeah, and
yeah,
go with your gut instinct when it comes to your kid like no other. Nobody
yeah,
knows your child better than you do.
yeah.
They might have more experience, but their experience is with their own children.
Ah,
It's different than yours. You know your kid. No one knows your kid the way that you
yeah,
do. So I
yeah,
think just yeah, that's what I would
yeah.
leave moms with.
I love that. Listen to it, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be what you
You
experience,
don't have to do
basically.
it. Listen to their experience.
Yeah,
Vicky, you know, one of my closest friends, she does things very differently than I do things.
yeah, yeah.
And our other friend does things differently. يعني كل واحد بيعمل شيء تاني غير.
Ah,
If you need the help, ask for it. And Anna, my cousin's wife is, I love how she is as a mom, and I always
yeah,
reach out to her, ask her about things. Ask people all around you. Ask them, what have you done when this? What have you, like, get their experience because it might be
ah,
helpful. But بآخر النهار, it's trial and error. It's whatever works for your kid
yeah,
and you,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Lucia, thanks for opening up with us today. We really appreciate it. And again, guys, like you're gonna be getting a
Let's
lot of
hope this
Yara's
is a great first episode for everybody.
yes. We hope you all enjoyed it. And Akid, you're going to be getting a lot more topics when it comes to, or like going through the motions with Yara. So you're going to be like with her on her motherhood journey as she goes through some things as well. And me on my aunthood journeys, you know? So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And as always, please make sure to come back here in 2 weeks for another episode of Can We Discuss with Yara and Petra. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.